Ready to go? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hello, my name is Frank, and today I'll be introducing drawing by showing you how to draw a face. The reason why I believe drawing is important is because it's a useful communication tool. For those who are not experienced in your area of expertise, sometimes using verbal or the written words such as equations or certain languages, it can be very difficult for them to understand what you're trying to teach. So I believe drawing is quite an important part of teaching in general. The use of visualization techniques can be found in mathematics or in practical experiments. When you're trying to show an equation or something, you use a graph, or to show how laboratory equipment works, so you can use sketches so that they are better acquainted with the equipment when they try and use it. But it is also a useful tool for seeking inspiration and conceiving initial concepts. An example would be the use of block diagrams or basic sketches to create a product, or think of a new schematics for coding and things like that. Moving on. The reason why I chose a face for this practice exercise is that it's simple, but the most difficult to perfect, which means that you can have a lot of fun practicing, trying to get a good image. But it also shows, it's a good way to show expression. So, let's get started. Here is an example of the sort of construction work that goes into the making of a face. The reason for the construction is to try and achieve symmetry. Otherwise, it's fairly expressive. This shows the 5 stages of drawing that are usually for render drawing, but these 3 stages are more than adequate to get that initial expressive drawing. So here is an extract from a book for introducing cartoon animation. I have brought a copy of a summary of Preston Blair's work. I chose this sort of technique because it is designed for animation, which means that it has to be quick but very expressive. This exercise at the bottom is a very good starting point. As you can see, it's just a face on an egg, and he has changed the position to try and create a 3-dimensional view, a 3-dimensional illusion of the egg in multiple dimensions. So, to introduce the construction, if you'd like to give it a try, that would be great. There are pencils there if you prefer, but you can also try and do it with a pen. Initial construction is very simple.
Pass some pencils out, Frank. See if anyone wants to do the drawing.
So the initial construction is fairly simple. Either a circle for trying to achieve an elongated egg shape, depending on what you want to draw, if it's an animal or a person. And depending on where you want your face to be, draw a cross and try and achieve a 3-dimensional. Usually I do this with pencils, so it's a lot easier. But so that is your basic initial construction lines. And from there on, you go on to positioning. Now, positioning is quite important, as changing the dimensions of the face can allow you to effectively represent multiple emotions. If you recognize this character, it's Jerry from Tom and Jerry, one of Preston Blair's works. As you can see, the elongation of this face makes it possible to create a droopy, sort of lazy look, or a dirty, happy look if you squash the face. So that initial positioning is important. Trying to get emotions on the face is possibly the most difficult part, because you have to recognize the position of the eyebrows, how narrow the eyes are, and also how the changing of the mouth deforms the face. You know, think of it like an elastic, sort of mushy ball. If you pull on the bottom, it'll change the shape of the whole structure. So, if you like to give that a try, depending on the time, I can try and show you something on the board. After that, it's simply just finalizing the drawing. You do this by darkening the outlines and the features that you find are appropriate, and then erasing the construction lines. Now, sometimes during the erasing, you might find that a certain line or a certain smudge gives the drawing character, and that after you erased it, you want to bring it back. And since you remember its exact position, you just simply need to redraw it. This is the simplest part, but it also is the most tedious and will probably take the longest time. The more time you spend on finalizing it, the better resulting image as it becomes more polished. And my final word of advice is to have fun with it, and the more you practice, the better you'll become. With drawing in general, it doesn't necessarily have to be a face, but getting better with the pencil and trying to draw is, I believe, will lead to a lot easier communications with students in the future. So, depending on the time, where's the timer?
That's it.
It's not running.
No, it's alright, I'm running it. You're 1 minute, Frank.
Okay,
Yeah.
1 minute. Well, that's the presentation. I can give you